Hey everybody, it is Amber J. Adams, and it has been so long since I have seen you all here in this space, going live, just saying, do it. So I'm super excited about the show I have planned for you all today. This is my first time inviting guests onto the Fab Life Project with me. I am super delighted, joyful, all the amazing adjectives I could possibly think of to describe how I feel right now for these two guests. They are two of my really good friends, Yamana Mitchell and Sana Childers, and they are joining me today to talk about jumpstarting your creative renaissance in 2023. So last year, I got to watch these two ladies really do amazing things for themselves. They're going to tell you a little bit more about what they've been up to, but a sneak preview. Sana started a podcast called Cosines and Tangents. She has been interviewing all kinds of people, and I have just gotten the chance to watch her just creatively flourish. And Yamana started a coaching business. And as a fellow coach, I'm like, yes, girl, get it. Get these people together. Let's get out there and inspire the world. And so Yamana is going to be telling us more today about her business as well, but also talking about the creative aspects of what it really took to get something going. So they are here with me. I'm ready to bring them in and introduce them. And yeah, let's get it. Let's go. Thank you all who are watching live. We just decided, you know what? We're going to go for it. We're going to go live. So let's do this. All right. First, we have Sana, who is here with me. And then I have Yamana. And this is my first time rocking this layout. Ooh, there we are. So I am definitely thugging it out right now, but who better to thug it out than your friends? So Sana, I'm going to hand you the mic. Introduce yourself, give a brief intro, tell the audience more about you, and then we'll hand the mic over to Yamana, and then we'll get going into talking about how to jumpstart that creative renaissance.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me on my show. Oh, no, Lord, I'm nervous. On your show. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to being on anybody else's stuff, so I'm excited. Well, as she stated, my name is Sana. I have a podcast called Cosines and Tangents. Also, I have a series of children's books that I started also in 2022. And that series of books are called Adventures of Ada. And I wrote that with a mutual friend of ours, Ogechi. What else to say? Like, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I went to UTC with y'all lovely ladies, and so far we just been holding tough.
I know. It feels like we should have got like maybe a little shot of whiskey for this one because we're all Tennesseans.
Right. Well, I'm not whiskey, but I'm not just
It's neither here nor there, neither here nor there. All right, Yamana, tell us a little bit about you.
I had to unmute myself. Everybody can hear me, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. So my name is Yamana Mitchell. Started my life coaching business this year, and I'm helping women to make more money, land in leadership roles. I feel like so much of society and cultural conditioning and family and all of those things, they very much tell women to fit inside of a box. And I'm here to say, bust up out that shit. You ain't got no box that you have to live in. Live your biggest, wildest dreams, because you can go after whatever it is that you see for yourself.
I love
Yeah. And UT Chattanooga is where we came together. I am a Tennessean through and through. I've been here my whole life. Started out in Knoxville. Chattanooga is where I was educated, and Nashville is where I've called home for almost 15 years.
Yes. So basically, we have the whole state covered because we got the Midlands over here, and then we had Knoxville, Chattanooga represented, Nashville. So we are good to go. So I am really thankful that you all are joining me today. I feel like my accent's gonna come out, so let's do it.
Let her out.
I'm coming to you all live from New York City, but deep down in my soul, I will always be coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee. All right. So, like I said, I got to really see you all flourish in 2022. I got to see you step forth and start new things and really lean into what I would say is the creative version of yourselves that I have always known y'all to be. But I know that the process of going from a thought in your mind to actually out there in the world is a totally different thing. So, Saina, I would love for you to tell us more about how did you make the decision to show up as who you are creatively?
Ooh, girl, you're gonna start real deep already. I love it.
That's how I roll.
Well, what had happened was I got tired of not being who I felt I was. I've always felt that I was this. I've always been a very nice person, very extroverted, but I felt like I wasn't doing everything to my potential. And I got the idea for the podcast in 2016, right after Trump, and I was like, I got things I want to say. And I tried to get my cousins into it, and they were down, but I wasn't yet ready to be that full person. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think probably 2020, like everybody, just went through like a fuck it, I might die today, so I might as well live. And that's what I did. I started trying to live. I was like, my cousins were cool without me having them being my co-people, and I just started doing it. Started doing solo episodes of the podcast, and then I think I hit you up. I hit one of my other friends, and then I hit Amber up, and then I just slowly start hitting up all my friends, like, come on, be on my show. And learning to live authentically has been the best thing that I've been doing for my mental health. Also going to therapy. And then when the books came about, that also with another friend, she called me and was like, I'm tired of being poor. I'm tired of working for the man. What can we do? We saw these TikTok, like TikTok side hustles. I said, let's try it out. And here we are, 2023, and we're still going strong.
We're going strong. More adventures of Ada to come.
Yes.
Yamana, what about you? So, let me actually, before we jump into that, I just want to share with everybody, like, when I think of you now, I've known you for so long, but I get this vision of you when we went to South Carolina and you came with your healing bowls and you were there at the sound bowls, and Yamana was literally trying to teach me how to do the sound bowls, and it wasn't working for me. I tried. The little bowl one it was not going for me. But when I picture you now, I see that version of you. And I know that you call your business Healing is Work Coaching, which feels so monumental. But I want to know that decision to show up as who you are creatively, maybe even take it deeper, that decision to heal so that you could show up as who you are creatively. I would love to hear more about that.
Yes. So I never saw entrepreneurship in my future. I've always dabbled in entrepreneurship. I have a mobile notary business. I've always hustled. I've always been a hustler. Get that honest from my mama. And it was the to do until it was the to don't. It was fucking exhausting. And I have worked in corporate America my entire life. I was okay with going in, making a check, and coming home. But somewhere along the way in 2020, I want to say this was probably in 2019 for me when this began. Work had showed me a side that I've never dealt with before.
Mm-hmm.
I had started doing more healing work because I've been in therapy off and on the last, I want to say 8 years. And when I first started my therapy journey, it was all about what external factors were making life complicated. Right. Never was it about me saying, what's going on with me? What's going on in my life? What patterns are repeating? And something shifted at work. And I was like, you know what? This feels like my family. And this feels like other issues that I've dealt with in romantic relationships. Mm-hmm. What is the root cause of all of this? When I decided to dig into that, the healing naturally arose. And from there, that it was like, oh, we can't keep staying in this job because I'm a bougie bitch and I want to live a really nice life. And this job ain't going to ever give me that. Yep. And the amount of effort, because I'm an accountant by trade. Mm-hmm. So the amount of effort I would have to put in to become a CPA or any other level of certification, working long hours during maybe tax season, if that's the avenue that I went down. I'm not willing to work that hard
Yeah.
for the life that I want to live. And I feel like I've put in a lot of time already, a lot of effort, a lot of energy already. And so, you know, in the process of healing, it's like, okay, well, what do you do?
Right.
And, you know, I've done all kinds of manifesting and how can you bring in more money with ease and all the child. I've dabbled in all the things. But it really was revealed to me after I did all of the deep dive digging into my own shit and
Mm-hmm.
worked through that I was like, you know what, girl, you really been a life coach your whole life. So we could just go ahead and make this an actual business
Yeah.
and get paid to do it because people value my input. I am not judgmental. I'm easy to talk to. I'm easy to listen, like shoulder to lean on, all of that support system, all of that comes natural for me. And so it's like, this is where I was led after I decided to stop living in a victim complaining, woe is me, life has me running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Not the chicken with the head cut off.
Listen, okay, I want my head back. I have reclaimed it and we are intact.
Yes, I love
we are
that.
living life completely
Reclaiming
differently.
your head.
Reclaiming your head. I almost feel like, I don't know, should that be on a shirt? Like, it feels
Try it out. Like whoever's listening, let us know if reclaiming your head.
reclaiming your head is a thing.
Gotta be a little chicken with the head on the ground beside it, though.
Okay.
Right.
It's gotta be a whole context of it all.
I'm here
But
for
yeah.
it.
And so
I'm
after
here for
doing all of that, I was like, you know what? We ain't got to live like this no more. And I want to help as many people as I can know that there are options beyond what you've always felt like you've had to do.
Yes, I love that because, you know, I've been doing the Fab Life Project for a while. It's been a while. I've been doing it for a while, but I feel like there was always kind of this barrier that stopped me from really going to that next level. And for a while, I thought it was me, that maybe my creativity was blocked. But then I realized it's actually making that concrete decision to show up as who you really are, despite the fact that, you know, because, and I want to do a show about this at some point, so everybody stay tuned. We wear a mask every day, especially when you go into a job, when you go into corporate America, wherever you happen to be in the world. I'm going to say we all put on this mask every day.
Yeah.
And I think that we're in this period now where we are really wanting to and struggling to try to remove it. And want to see what's really underneath it. And I think what's underneath it definitely is a lot of creativity. I think we are definitely going through a renaissance period. I mean, Beyonce named it and claimed it, right? So you just kind of, you know, Queen Bee said that's what we're doing, and that's what we're doing.
Listen.
So
You're trying to break my soul, honey, of all this.
Right? Here for it.
Eat it. Come on.
So, Sana, tell me, what fears, challenges, you know, did you have to overcome? And one of the things I really want to zero in on with this question, we're all, you know, the same age. I think, Sana, you're a little bit younger than me and Yamana. Yamana, I'm a few old, you know, months older than you, but we're all in that late 30s time period. We're fabulous. We look black.
We're 80s. Little 80s baby.
Period.
80s babies, 90s children.
Exactly. However, we know that as you start to get older, sometimes it does feel a little bit weird to get out and take some risks. It feels a little bit weird to really step behind, you know, do something different than what you have always done, even if it feels like, yo, I think this is really me. I think this has always been me. So what fears and challenges did you have to overcome? And did age really kind of factor into that? Was it a thought for you?
Yes, all of it. All of it. All the fears, all the apprehensions that you can fathom, I deal with on a daily basis. Hell, I'm scared right now because we're always worried about what people think, how people react to what we have to say. Will this get me canceled? Or will this get me, you know, fired from my main gig? I don't know. But one of the things that years ago, I went to therapy, and I kind of was in and out of therapy too, but like I would do like 1 or 2, 3, and then I'm like, I don't like that person. She don't know what she's talking about. But this one therapist, she actually kind of made me feel a little bit better about how I process fear. Because I used to tell her, man, I was so like cool. I felt like I was really cool as a teenager. I was very like, I would start protests. I'll do petitions. I was a little fight the man type of girl back. And I told her that. She said, well, your frontal lobe is fused. You now know the errors of your ways. You
Oh,
you know what's gonna happen, you know consequences to your actions. When we were teenagers, we had no consequences. We were like, I'm gonna
right.
live my life because I could be dead tomorrow, especially growing up in Memphis. You never know. So the things that I so that helped me put that in perspective. I'm like, okay, it's not that I've changed as a person. I just know that I am still that woman who wants to go out there and fight the man, who still can, but as a person who's grown older, frontal lobe, all types of views, I know that I can lose the life that I've already built.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely age, to kind of get back on task, age has definitely helped me because with 30s, I found myself like, okay, I was trying to get myself ready in my 20s, get this job and get ready for this life I'm gonna have. And when that didn't happen the way I thought it was gonna happen, I was like, well shit, I'm 30. I might as well see what the hell's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um, Especially in 30s, a lot of stuff happened. Like I had a lot of loss, like a lot of friendship loss. One of my best friends, she died suddenly. My dad
Mm-hmm.
died in 2020. So we had a lot of fear and a lot of grief that I had to process. And that also led me to like, what are you gonna do? What's gonna happen if you take a chance?
Right.
And I could be talking with you guys and on live right now and having a great time, and or I could just be waiting to the weekend and going back to work and doing that drudgery all over again. And that was just no way to live. So I feared not having the life that I want to live more than just
Yes.
out and doing this and seeing what happens.
Yes, I resonate with that so hard. And I see him on the nodding. And I'm just going to say, people who are watching this live or when you catch this on the replay, you're probably nodding along with that as well. Like getting to this point where you just honestly fear missing opportunities, that fear becomes greater than the other fears that you had. And so, Iman, I want to give you the mic to jump in on that.
Yeah.
Tell us, that nod, where's that nod coming from?
Girl, it's coming from deep within my spirit because yes to all of it. I was just thinking back to like, growing up, I was told to work really hard. You have to work 10 times as hard to get equally where your counterparts are.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been something that I have that I've lived by. Like it is in my bones.
Yeah.
And child, it it never inspired working smarter and not harder. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember growing up watching my mother, single mother, work 2 and 3 jobs. My mother has kept a minimum of 2 jobs as long as I can remember.
Wow.
And it got to a point to where that was my norm.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going to college, getting a degree because that's what you're supposed to do because that secures your future. And I started out in pharmacy, wasn't for me. Went to accounting, didn't think it was for me, child. I cried and almost changed it to some bullshit. But then I finished, and out of college, it took me, I think, 8 years to get into my field.
Wow.
And I'd had other little jobs along the way, and I'm, positive Patty. And I'm like, yeah, everything's par for the course. My big breakthrough's coming. And I finally got my job in accounting with the state 9 years ago. And I remember getting like $10,000 increase from where I was currently at. And I got off the phone and I just cried like I had won. Like that was the dream. I had security.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And fast forward, the pandemic happened and I've changed as a human.
Yeah.
And it's not enough anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not mind showing up to my job, but it does not make me happy.
Mm. Yeah.
And I got to a place to where in 2020, 2021, honey, Yamana's happiness is the only thing that mattered because everyone else's happiness has been my priority.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was time to refocus that. And I didn't care nothing about age. I do a lot of reading on people's autobiographies and things. Cicely Tyson,
Oh,
Viola Davis. I mean, so many wonderful people who have inspired me.
yeah.
And sometimes, most of these people, the breakthrough is later on in life.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, I might be a little ahead of the curve. Because some of these folks didn't break it until 40 and 50 and 60.
That's true.
So, and I've learned in all of this with the coaching that I've experienced personally and that
Mhm.
I have offered myself is that we are just constantly a work in progress, and you can have whatever it is that you want. You just have to be willing to go after it.
Yeah.
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 And
I,
and there's no limit to like
there's
when
no
you
limit.
begin or how you go about it. There's no right way. There's no only way. Your way is the way that it needs to be, because you needed the experiences that you got along the way to get you to where you're at, to
That's
really enjoy
so
it.
true. That is so true. And that's one of the things I was reflecting on that earlier. And as I was getting ready, I was like, yeah, I'm so excited. I'm talking to you Monday and Sunday today. And I was thinking about just some of the changes that I've been making as I think, if you're in my orbit, you're my friend, and maybe if you're the first time you're hearing this, I'm in the process of getting a certification as a leadership and executive coach. Super excited about that because that's something I've wanted to do for a long time. But there had also been these feelings that I had battled where I felt like, I've kind of done this thing and done this and done this and this. Even with the Fab Life Project, the Fab Life Project's website right now looks banging. Am I about to use it moving forward? Probably not as much because I have other things that I want to do. And for a long time, I struggled with that feeling, but I really came to what you said, Yamana, which is all the things that I have done, all the things that we have done. Those of you all who are catching this live or catching this on that replay, let's have a moment where we really celebrate that. All the things that we have done have led us to where we are now. Like I like to use in coaching this image almost of a toolbox where you are reaching for things. And if we think about it, the things that are in our toolbox today are things that we have been steadily stockpiling, gifts that we have been steadily cultivating, new skills, new experiences. So no matter what, all of those things are coming into play, and sometimes in these beautiful ways that we weren't even aware, that we would even get to. So yeah, I absolutely resonate with that. I love that so much.
Can I piggyback on
Yes,
just?
please do.
I think one of the things that's really happening with us in 2020 now and beyond is that we're starting to decolonize our thoughts and our feelings that we have to have the picket fence, the job, and stay at this place for 30 years and then die. But we're realizing that our lives doesn't have to be so strategic or so stationary, not stationary, but standardized. That's what I'm thinking about. Standardized in order for it to be a life worth living. And we can take a lot of different roles and still get to where we need to be. And those are just, all those bumps are just, like you said, made us who we are, has put those tools in our toolbox. And I love what you brought up, Yamana, about how we might be ahead of our time now. Because people waited till, not waited, but they had to do different things to get to where they are. And so now we're just taking the lessons that they taught us and just running with them.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I think about Maya Angelou, and she was, a true Renaissance woman who did so many things. Like this lady had like at least 7 different careers in her lifetime. And I'll sit there and I'm like, how did she manage all of this? But I think it really takes, and I think the challenge for us these days, especially as people growing up in this time where everything feels like it's supposed to be now, it's supposed to be so instant, is it takes a certain level of patience and just belief that one step, and all of these things start to add up into something else. So yeah, fabulous.
And just to expand just a bit, the other thing is that a lot of times we get hung up on it needing to look exactly like how we have imagined it.
Yes.
The bigger plan for you, the way that life is supposed to unfold, the grand experiences that you're meant to have, you can't necessarily even dream of that at this current space that you're in. And so don't limit yourself to just this sexy little door number 1 over here. Honey, you could have 7 doors on a yacht if you just stay part of the course.
Yes. Yes, our yacht plan, your mother.
7-figure bitches, I ain't playing.
7-figure bitches. Now that definitely needs to be on a t-shirt or something. That's gonna be a 7-figure bitch. That's my goal.
Y'all out there who are watching us, support our merch business.
It's all, get a store near you.
Let me tell you this.
Look, you do have that skill. I know that's another thing you've done. You got the merch.
Right. That's what happened.
Come through.
That's what happened with the book. Me and Ogechi were talking about it, and I came back the next day with the rough draft. She's like, "What the hell?" I said,
"Look, we're not playing games. We're not playing games."
Right. I'll have some stuff tomorrow, bet.
And you know what, Sana? I'm gonna actually ask you to dive in on talking about what it has felt like to be more creative and build something for yourself. Like, what has that feeling? What has that been like? What's that energy like?
I still sometimes question the fact if I am creative or not, because it doesn't look like other creatives. Like, I'm not sitting in my house painting on walls and stuff like that, even though I used to do that when I was a kid. But I question that, and I fight with my own imposter syndrome of who I am a lot. And like, that's why I procrastinate sometimes, because I have to, because I have ADD. And so I have to trick myself to just do things so I won't talk myself out of it, because I've had times where my anxiety and my depression have kicked in so hard that I get into that paralyzation of my I can't do anything. And so I try to stay present and just be like, okay, you are creative. You created something that some people have not created. And it's just, it feels freeing. It also feels like I'm being the person that I've seen in my head all the time. Like, have you ever just like envisioned the person you are, and you just like, oh, I'm coming, I am her, and I'm becoming her. And that's been very scary, but also I feel kind of emotional about it. So if I cry, don't be alarmed. But I'm just glad to really meet her again, because I felt like I knew who she was when I was young, and there was spurts of her back when I was in my 20s. And then the 30s tried to grind her out, but now she's coming back. So it feels good. It feels good to be considering myself a creative again.
Oh, I love that so much. Yeah, I know. Like, I feel like this to me, y'all are sitting with me in my dream right now, for real. Like, I was saying that before we went live. Like, literally, they saw me. Like, having that burst of energy and remembering being that little girl in Memphis in my backyard interviewing my dolls. Like, my dad would tell you, I was in the backyard legit talking to myself. But in my mind, I was doing my show. I was doing my show. Yeah, Yamana, what about you? How has it felt to really dive into doing something creative and really building something for yourself?
It has been beautifully terrifying.
I love that. Beautifully terrifying. I think that's another shirt.
I could be writing this down.
It has been beautifully terrifying. At some point, there was a checkpoint. I talked to somebody out loud about all of the anxieties and things that I've been feeling, because I very much have been steeped in the system of things like schooling and corporate America. So I'm very good at following the rules. I'm good at following the instructions laid out. And so the challenge for me has been to allow myself the space and the freedom to just do what the fuck I want.
Yes.
And that's crazy to me. And so I talked to somebody and I was like, I have been uncomfortable all year long. And just to give a little backstory, I pick a word or a theme each year.
Oh,
and
the
comfort
WODI.
and conflict.
The word of the year, the WODI.
Yes. Comfort and conflict was my theme for, I want to say, for the last 2 or 3 years. And it has been really uncomfortable. And I talked to somebody and they were like, yeah, entrepreneurship is uncomfortable. I said, oh, okay, so then this is normal. And they're like, yeah, if you're not uncomfortable for at least the first year, you're not doing it right. I said, okay, so then I am on track. I needed somebody to like say, this is kind of the standard, because it's felt kind of helter-skelter. There's been points where I overwork myself because like I work my day job. And then when I'm done with that, I'm like, I love doing what I'm doing. And I have all these things to do. And I would just go and go and go and I would have no boundaries with myself.
Mm.
And so then I'm like, not tired, because strangely enough, this work that I do for myself and giving to other people energizes me. I can be tired, hop on a call with somebody about this space that I'm in, and feel like I've had a nap.
Yeah.
It's wild. But just so, words of the year last year, choice was my word, and that required me to stay in action in some versions, moving forward constantly, making choices to keep moving forward. And like Sana was saying, that inner child, that inner me that's always been there, this little sassy Yamana that's inside, honey, she has been locked away and playing nice and holding her tongue.
Yeah.
This year, my word is wonder.
Oh, I love that.
We are exploring the inner child. She is living. She's going to get a little more free reign, but we're going to get real funky, real creative. We're going to wear mix match patterns if we want to. It don't matter. I'm doing what I want. I'm remaining curious, and I'm exploring, because that is what I need for what my next is going to be.
I love that. And that sounds like, I mean, when you think about creativity, you think about a renaissance, you think about jumpstarting anything, wonder. I feel like that's actually where it starts. Kind of like, I wonder what this could look like. I wonder if, like, just wonder, embodying that. I think that's an excellent Wody for you. That is awesome. So we are kind of coming to the close of our convo.
Really?
Don't you worry, girl. We can do this again.
I know we have. You know what? Putting it out there into the universe. My dream. I want to do 2 panel conversations. So everybody who's out there listening, please raise your hand if you are interested in joining us. I think I can have quite a few people on this platform. So, let me know.
I saw it. I was like, 10 people?
Like 10 people. That would be one hell of a conversation. But one of the ones I want to do is specifically for our millennials, about how there is no blueprint anymore. And we've really talked about that quite a bit today. Everything is just wide open. Like, all the rules that we really got inundated with as children no longer apply. We are now in this space where we are literally thugging it out, figuring it out every day on a day-to-day basis. And we have got to, and I try to really impress this upon my clients. I feel like Yamana, you probably do as well. And Sana, with the podcast, we have got to define success on our own terms. We absolutely, I feel like it is imperative that we do that. And I would love for us to have a broader conversation about that. Kind of kicked it off a little bit on a solo YouTube video, but even when I was doing it, I said, this is a conversation for others. Like, this is a in community conversation that we really need to have. And the other one I really want to do is something on dating. And I have been, I've been really nervous about doing anything around dating. So just a side story. This summer I had all of my friends here in New York. They will tell you, they're like, Amber had us reading this book, but I did. I had everyone reading this book called How Not to Die Alone.
I read that book because of you.
Let me tell you, Logan was doing her thing. Logan was doing her thing. Shout out to you, Logan Yuri. That's the name of the book. It's on Amazon. But I had everybody reading this book because I thought it was really important for all of us. I don't want to say we're getting older, but I mean, we are. And that's another piece of there being no blueprint anymore. Think about the age at which our parents had us, what they were doing. My mom actually had me a little bit older, so I was probably about 1 at this age. But most people, really, you can look back, your parents maybe had 2, 3 kids, whoever you happen to be right now. And we're still out here just kind of doing our thing, or as my friend said, maybe a wee bit adrift. And I think that there are some just kind of relational things that as millennials, we haven't really discussed or haven't talked about. But I think we're getting to a space where that's a conversation I kind of want to wade into. So just throwing it out there, if you're watching this live, wherever you happen to be seeing it, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, let us know in the comments if this is something that you would love to see, if it's something you would love to participate in. Okay, Sana, you raised your hand. You're volunteering.
I'm volunteering for tribute.
Me as well.
Because
one of my
I
favorite
can talk about it
takeaways.
now because I got beliefs on why we are. I don't think we're really adrift. I think we're just our timelines have changed.
They have changed.
Because women's role in society has expanded so much, and their ability to do so much is so different. So
I got a lot of thoughts on that one. Yeah,
And
what I'm gonna say.
I was gonna say, and with her book, with Logan Urie's book,
Yeah.
the one thing that really stood out for me, and this is something that I have absolutely run with since then. Child, I can't stand no damn small talk. I cannot. And she gave me permission to bypass small talk and just talk about whatever I want to talk about. And I was like, this makes way more sense. And I think that can like apply even to adult friendships, because that's something that we struggle with.
Yeah.
And people knowing how to have conversations with people as adults versus carrying just those childhood friendships into adulthood.
That's very, very true, girl. That could be a whole show within itself, because
let's do it.
A thing. I know, right? We're getting a little saucy. They've let us loose, y'all. They have let us loose. So I want to end our conversation today. One, to say thank you to you all. Of course, y'all know I love y'all so much, and I'm so happy that you joined me for this first episode of the Fab Life Project with real guests, not just me talking. I thought y'all know I love to talk, but not just me talking. This has been super exciting. Yamana, I know you gave your word of the year as wonder. Saying, I'm gonna put you on the spot for a second. I felt like you knew it was coming because I saw you started looking. What's your word of the year?
I was taking notes. I was like, how not to die alone.
We'll text you after, girl. Don't worry.
Yes.
Okay, good. If I had to off the top,
it's still January. You can always.
I'm about saying your word can change, girl.
Yeah, it can change. Right now, just love is the first thing that comes to my head. Just like me, loving my family, but mostly not to sound selfish, but really loving me. Yeah. Like, I feel like I fell in love with Sana so much more than I have in the last few years, because I've been letting other things take away from that time. So love is one of my biggest things right now.
I love that. I love that. I think that's beautiful. So
yeah, we've been loving on you. I've seen it all on your social, honey. The way you be like rolling around and closing your eyes and just living. I'm like, yes, live.
I got that from you, ma'am. Jumping in puddles and stuff.
Yes, I saw that earlier.
Listen, Wonder is out the building, and we out here.
Right. Wonder is out here for those. Yamana literally on her Instagram, she shared today, out in Nashville, jumping in puddles like a kid, and I'm here for it. I used to jump in puddles in my front yard. I loved it. My parents did not. I did, but now we've grown. It's your house.
Right.
What you need to do.
Put on them rain boots and go kick a puddle if you got to.
Exactly. And I'm going to put myself on the spot. I wouldn't put you on the spot without putting me on the spot. So last year, my word of the year, my WODY, was vulnerability. And I think that was really I feel like I almost called that into my life by stating that as my word of the year. So this year, my word of the year, I'm going to challenge myself and say it's consistency. And consistency has really been a weird battle with me, not necessarily because I don't view myself as a person who's capable of it, but because in the moments when I feel like I've let myself down or I've fallen short of what I wanted to do, it was harder to pick myself back up. And that was actually what stalled me and kept me from moving forward. So I'm going to say consistency, and that even in the moments where maybe I fall short of what I want to do or fall short of a goal, I'm going to consistently keep going, consistently pick myself back up, consistently insist on moving forward. So there we go. Awesome. Thank you all so much. Thank you to everybody who, oh my God, we have like 17 comments. I haven't been able Hey, okay, we said friends. Hi, everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We have, okay. Yes, everybody. We will have to, I will make sure. Questions? But people say, hey, y'all. Our friends, our Southern friends are tuning in So no questions that I can see, but if you're out there and you still have some questions, now is the time because I'm wrapping up this combo. But this conversation will be posted on the Fab Life Project YouTube. It's going to be on Facebook. It's on my personal Facebook page. And Yamana and Sana, you all will be able to grab the link and embed it as well wherever. Share out the link. Yes, and I look forward to doing this again. If there is someone out there that you want to see me talk to, y'all, if y'all have some ideas for somebody you want to see me talk to, please get in touch. I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's do it. I can't wait to have more discussions. Ow. Okay. Thank you all so much. Thank you, everybody who's been watching.
Thank you.
This is Amber and Yamana and Sana, and we are out.